Bifrost is the first design to code tool that I would say actually works. We went quite viral for our video. Everyone looked at the code and they're like, yo, shit, this code is actually clean. Startups are a long-term adventure with long-term people and long-term benefits. And the only way that you're going to be productive on a long-term timescale is with long-term sustained productivity. Whenever I do something, I just go all in.
Yeah.
And I just spend so much time consuming every piece of content and understanding how everything works. I used to have an ice cream company. So I used to sell ice cream for hours and hours a day.
What type of ice cream?
I used to make chai-flavored ice cream. Chai cream.
He put the Parle-G on there.
Yeah, Parle-G, that's it. You know, like, I know my audience, right? My audience would be brown people and like hipster white people in cities, right? So I was like, okay.
Parle-G.
Yeah, Parle-G would speak to everyone, right?
Imagine you got the licensing for the baby.
That'd be wild. There's a baby on the packet of Parle-G.
Yo, how old do you think that baby is now?
Bro, it's just him. It's just like,
Whoa! Why?
Welcome to the podcast. I'm here with two members of the Bifrost team, the co-founder and the mascot.
yeah, he's our mascot.
I am actually second in command to the founding AI engineer. I'm the second in command.
Yeah, he's our chief distraction officer. Basically, he sits next to us and just distracts our AI engineer all day.
Every time I've been downstairs, for people that don't know, Founders Inc. is 2 floors. Every time I go downstairs without fail, he's been at your desk and you guys are just laughing about
I'm
the
not
most
at the desk.
obscene
We
things.
sit next to each other.
And somehow you're still sitting on their desk, even though your seat's like right behind it.
Members of the Bifrost team sit at their own desk. Yeah, that's so weird.
Yeah, we have a dedicated spot for our mascot to sit.
Tell them the terms.
What are the terms?
Our terms are that he gets to be the face of like our branding when we go to like sports teams and stuff, which hasn't happened. And he's got $0.00 on the payroll, right? But I'm thinking about giving him a 20% raise.
I thought you pay them to be on their team.
Huh?
What happened to that?
I just did well. So
yeah,
I got enough raises where we got to a point where I don't pay them anything.
Okay.
I think I'm one good decision away from getting some equity.
Would you give him equity?
I mean, you have to pay for the equity at our current valuation at least.
But we can't talk about the current valuation.
Yeah, we can't talk about the current valuation.
Yeah.
So even if we can't talk about the current valuation, you guys raised $3.2 million for Figma to React.
Yep, that's correct.
But you guys actually made it work.
Yeah, so I think there's been a couple of tools in the past that exist for Figma to React or Figma to code in some way, but they've always been built for designers or built for like presentational tools, right? We're actually like building within the context of like your development environment. So we understand what components you've built, we understand what frameworks you're using, and we use AI to like kind of clean up code and actually make code that's context dependent. So it looks like something that your own engineers wrote.
And so the team right now is, apart from Vishal, there's 3 of you.
There's 5 of us.
There's 5 of you.
Yeah, there's 5 of us.
So who's on the team?
So it's me and my co-founder, Karthik. Karthik is the CEO and I'm the CTO. And then we have 2 engineers and 1 AI engineer who's leading our AI efforts.
One's from Sweden.
Oh, that went through?
Yep.
Nice.
And he's on his, like we're figuring out the immigration process to get them here.
One is a child.
Yes.
That's true. You guys do. Oh, Aleem's.
Aleem is on our team. Yes.
Sweet.
And Aleem is amazing. Absolute killer. Like I'm so impressed by him like on a day-to-day basis.
Wow.
He's pretty good. But the way you and Karthik met was, I've heard a good amount of stories about this.
Yeah. So Karthik and I met 10 years ago. We met in my first week of freshman year. Oh. And he actually met me and his wife on the same day. Like all of us met at the same time.
How'd you guys meet?
Just like college orientation. Like we're both brown dudes. We were like, oh, what's up? And started hanging out. He's a little bit older. His wife is my age. And yeah, we all just started kicking it from there. And we had like a match in terms of tech. We used to like party together sometimes, but mostly he would just like host board game nights on the weekends and I would be there all the time. And after that, we worked at the same company. We used to work at Intuit at different times. And then we both moved to the Bay Area. So we just stayed really close and ended up both working at early stage startups because that's what we loved. And we found a good like overlap in the problems that we wanted to solve. So we decided to start a company together. And here we are.
And Bifrost wasn't always Figma to React, right? You guys were both working on a separate company?
Yes. So we were working on a couple of other things together before we pivoted into Bifrost. Initially, we were actually in the crypto space. So we're one of those guys. And
y'all one of those.
Yeah, we one of those. But initially, we were solving the problem of inheritance of like crypto assets from like a personal problem that Karthik faced. Basically, he had like amassed like a decent amount of like Ethereum, and he realized that if he got like hit by a truck, like his wife would have like no way of accessing it, right? Because when you have like self custody, everything is dependent on your private key, and there's like these complicated processes to like off ramp. And we wanted to kind of solve those problems. And the initial thing that we did was something that's fully smart contract based. It gave approval to like ERC20 tokens with a dead man switch and allowed transfer, which was pretty cool. But turned out the market for that isn't very big. And also the type of people who are in crypto don't generally really care about the safety type of stuff as much, it turns out. So after getting some set of customers, we realized it was really difficult to scale it. So we decided to pivot. But we did get into YC with that idea. And one of the first things they told us to was like, hey, you guys should think about pivoting because we don't think this would get huge.
Interesting. What was going through YC like? What year was this?
This was winter 22. So this was in 2022.
Okay.
YC was incredible, right? Being able to meet all the partners, Dalton, Harj, and the rest of them, it was amazing. And it really changed my mindset about building companies. It unlocked a lot of like the doors in Silicon Valley for me, which was really awesome. I just didn't have like that sort of network and connection group.
What does unlock the doors mean?
Like being able to have this network of founders that I could speak to about like what I'm building. They immediately understand it, and I could do sales with them. I could do user research with them. Like it's not a privilege that I had previously, right? Now it's a lot easier to find that sort of a network through things like Twitter or just by building in public and things like that. But with YC, it's just people who I know are the exact type of people who like have businesses and have like capital in order that they want to invest in order to make their lives easier, right? And it just gives you like a kind of different ball game for building, which was really awesome. And also just like on a personal confidence side, it changed a lot for me because I kind of realized that like these people who are building these like generational companies, they're just people, you know? Like previously I always like put founders like on a pedestal because like I didn't know founders until like I kind of got into this game, right? I like knew like one person had started a company, or at least in tech had started a company. And I always put them on a pedestal. I thought like founders acted a specific way or they were like this type of person. Then after I went through YC and I started hanging out with the F-Inc network and stuff like that, like I realized that it's just as much variance as just like your random friends, right? It's just like, the common traits are they are competitive and optimistic. And that's really about it. Everything else is like just as different as hanging out with any random people. Like, I think that was a big mindset change for me because earlier I thought I had to like change myself to be a certain way. And I realized I could just invest in being myself as much as possible, and that will lead to the best outcomes.
So you don't think there's like a specific archetype for people that turn into successful founders?
I don't think so because I think that there's common traits, right? I think there's traits of being like a really high impact person, somebody who wants to take leverage in that type of way. And then 2 is being optimistic. Like I don't meet any founders who are pessimistic.
True.
And 3 is being able to manage stress. I actually think that's a big part of it because like if you are not able to manage stress, you won't be able to like do this type of work. It's like really, really difficult. But other than those 3 things, in terms of like personalities, what they like, their interests, and just like how hanging out and talking to them is like, I don't think that there's a specific archetype for it, right? And I think that was really freeing for me in terms of my mindset.
Why do you say managing stress?
I've seen the opposite many times, and I've seen the opposite for myself, and it's hugely detrimental, right?
What do you mean?
Like, I think a lot of building a company is like simplifying your thinking and figuring out what is the best thing I could do with my time and not do so much that it's going to mess everything else up. You know, I think if you're bad at managing stress, you're going to let these type of decisions that you have to make all the time when you're running a company start eating you up. And then your decisions are going to lower in quality over time, over and over again. And you won't be able to sleep, and it's just going to eat you up all the time. And also, you're just going to start obsessing over things for the sake of obsessing over things, even if they're bad impact for the company. And I've seen that so many times, whereas you need to make the right leverage decisions. Like you need to figure out what the best possible use of your time is and do only that. But if you are high stress, what you're going to do is you're going to start obsessing over everything and let everything eat you up. And I've seen it so many times, and it's always been really detrimental for the company. So if you manage your stress better, you're just going to end up making a lot better decisions on a recurring basis at scale. It's going to be way better for your company.
So you as a founder that's building, let's say a dev tool, you don't have that many people to manage. What are the high leverage decisions that you default to making?
Just talking to customers, right? It's like, okay, we have X amount of users, and if I have a vision of what I want my product to do, what do I need to do to get there, right? That's a simplistic thing. And what do our customers want in order for us to get there, right? And it's just like, okay, my highest leverage decision is like figuring out what these important things are and then figuring out what the team needs to work on and then picking one of those and just focusing on that ruthlessly. And then trusting that the other people in the organization will take enough ownership in order to solve those problems themselves, right? I think those are kind of like the most high leverage things. If I were to be super stressed out about it, I would be all up in everyone's shit at the company and micromanaging it.
True.
And overthinking every small random decision that we make and figuring out how to optimize it. But at the end of the day, that's just going to hurt my business. The best thing to do is to focus on what really matters, aka like what do customers want, and like how do I make this engine work, and then just focus on that ruthlessly, right?
At what point do you build where it's like that's not the only answer? Because I feel like everyone says talk to customers, and obviously we have great founders that come through here, but it's like if everyone knows that's the key, what do you think after that point still causes that like success or failure gap between like, oh, I'm just going to build based on what my customers are asking for?
That's a good question. I mean, it really just comes down to like vision combined with talking to customers, right? Because it's like, okay, what do I want to exist in this world that doesn't exist yet? And then how do I create that? And then how do I use the feedback from customers in order to like adjust that vision if I believe that vision is something that needs to exist and a lot of people think that needs to exist, right? Because like, let's say I want to build a castle, right? Like I'm going to start by building like a small house, and then I'm going to talk to the people and figure out what aligns with building a castle and aligns what they need next. Like probably going to need to build a kitchen.
Yeah.
Probably going to need to build some defenses. Probably going to build some more luxury shit. And that's going to bring more and more people on it iteratively. And then eventually I'm going to end up at like the big, amazing thing. Right.
But you know where you're going. Like you have the North Star.
Yeah. I have a North Star, but then I align that with customer feedback. And then also the other short answer is a lot of people don't really know how to talk to users well.
Give us that. Give us some keys on how to talk to users.
You don't talk about your idea, talk about problems. That's it. You just have to figure out what their processes look like and completely unbiased look at it. Step back. Good book about this, The Mom Test. Everyone in the world recommends that book, but for a reason. Like it's amazing. I've read it like 20 times. But
Sitting right there.
yeah, it is. I see it. The pink book right there.
One, yeah.
Yeah. Incredible book. You should read it. But it comes down to like, hey, whenever you tell your mom an idea, she's going to be like, honey, that's amazing. Go for it. Right. And anytime you talk to people about your idea, there always is going to be some aspect of ego in you. And there's some aspect of them that doesn't want to disappoint you. But if you talk to them about their problems and you don't have any agenda around it, the real shit's going to come out. Right. Like if you're like, you have to think about talking to customers. Like if you met somebody at a party, you're not going to be trying to pitch them some bullshit, right? You're just going to like talk to them about what they're doing.
I've seen the failed version of that manifested so many times where dudes are like, I need to ask you a question, and they won't give me any context as to why.
Exactly.
I'm like, what do you mean? Like, why are you asking specifically? He's like, no, bro, this like, what do you think of X, Y, Z? I'm like, okay.
Dude, it's really funny because like when you talk about this type of feedback around like actually how to talk to people and stuff, right? Like you'll tell the person, they'll be like, yeah, okay, but you could tell they don't believe it.
People always just
like,
want.
How do you do? I'm sure you get pitched stuff, right?
All the time. Dude,
People just want you to like confirm what they have in their
barbers
head.
pitched you?
Yeah, like, dude,
what did your barber pitch you?
This is not my barber. This is like a friend's barber that I had to go to for like
your
something.
Own barber,
dude, bro.
Why is your friend's barber pitching you?
My barber had a baby, and I had to.
I don't even know about your
congrats, Chad.
Wow, Chad. Hey, man.
Yeah, Chad killed it, bro.
A boy or girl?
Boy. He has two boys.
Exciting.
Actually, one time.
Why'd you say it like that?
Yeah. Dude, one time I went to a barbershop. Dude, this was fucking wild. It was in Pittsburgh, California, which is actually where Umar is from.
Wait, like East Bay, Pittsburgh?
East Bay, Pittsburgh, yeah.
Okay.
And I was at the barbershop, and there was this one dude over there just being like, hey, yo, I just had a baby. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, what's the date today? I got to remember today. My boy was just born. And I was just like, dog, why are you here? Like, he's not even cutting nobody's hair. He was just sweeping hair off the floor. And I was like, dude, go to the hospital. Like your baby mama's just like sitting there having a kid and you're just at the barbershop.
Crazy. My man was like, I got to remember this.
Yeah, dude, he was like, yo, what's the date today? 5/24. Ooh, I got to remember that.
That's crazy.
It's like his first kid.
That's how I imagine what you do all day.
And then he had a startup idea to pitch him.
Yeah. He's like TikTok for barbers. I've literally gotten pitched that by a barber.
It's always TikTok for.
So it's just TikTok.
Yes, but
like you
specifically for barber content. That's why I like casually told him, I was like, yeah, you should think about doing that on TikTok. And you're like, nah, bro, it'll be like blah, blah, blah.
It's always a nah, bro. Let me tell you why not.
Yeah. And then I got pitched at one point TikTok for movie reviews.
What?
And then TikTok for like fucking sales content or something. I don't know, man.
Let me put my 2 cents in. If anyone ever tells you TikTok for XYZ, bro, just go to TikTok.
Yeah. Unlike Bifrost, because we're building TikTok for dev tools.
Actually, yours is as useless as everything else.
I'm just kidding.
Print that.
Omar just froze as soon as I thought. He's like, wait, is this guy serious?
I was like, wait, I was like, how much can I roast you on my own podcast?
You can roast me all you want, man.
Oh man,
Oh, this guy's like the weirdest founder, though. Right?
why?
out of like prototypical. Like I thought
I'm cutting
founders.
this for sure.
I mean, you can keep it.
He
I don't
has
mind,
a very
actually.
unconventional founder path.
You have an unconventional founder path.
Tech founder path. Is that fair?
I actually disagree because I think that like if you're talking about unconventional paths, being a founder is the most.
You one of those?
No, like as in like I think that there's how do I say this? It's the least conformed path to becoming a founder, right? There's like archetypes of like going to like Berkeley, Stanford, blah blah blah. There's dudes who just like be building in like a random industry and then become a founder.
I don't know, Omar Eeks.
Yeah, like dude, there's just like tons of different ways and paths to becoming a founder because founder's not really a function. It's just like starting something and solving a problem, right? Whereas for an engineer, generally like you go to get a degree and you become an engineer or marketing. All these things have like kind of a more defined path. Whereas being a founder is not like a job function in the same way.
Well, I'm saying you're the first, I think, founder I met here that had started a non-tech company.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Non-tech, like non-technical.
Yeah, I guess so.
Interesting.
Actually. Yeah. So, I mean, for context, for people who are listening, I used to have an ice cream company. So I used to sell ice cream for hours.
But what type of ice cream?
I used to make chai flavored ice cream. Or as you say in my language, we say cha, we don't say chai. So we made cha flavored ice cream.
And it was cha-cha. What was the?
Chai cream.
Chai cream.
Yes, sir. Best pun.
It's pretty clever.
Best pun.
How'd it go?
Very well, actually. I sold quite a few thousand pounds of ice cream.
Pounds?
Pints.
Pints.
It was just him, bro. This dude in his garage.
Yep.
Just
I hired somebody to
ice
churn
cream.
eventually.
You should have just went with that.
But
you could have went with that.
actually, for quite a long period, it was just me in my garage, like churning ice cream. I'm happy to tell you the whole story about it.
Tell me the whole story.
Yeah, I mean, this was during COVID. Actually,
People be doing the weirdest things during COVID. It's always something like, they say the most like abhorrent story, and it's just like, oh yeah, because of COVID.
yeah, I used to make ice cream and film myself dancing in the backyard.
He started
That's,
a
like,
podcast.
legit. And he started a podcast.
I did start a podcast in
and
COVID.
now you're here. But
Another podcast.
But yeah, anyway, ice cream. At the beginning of COVID, just to like a lead into this, like in like a 2-week span, I went through a breakup, lost my apartment, lost my job, and had no idea what I was gonna do. Right? Like,
Damn, I didn't know that.
yeah, it was like fucking bang, 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 left hook, right hook, undercut, whatever it's called, like
shit.
all at the same time.
Uppercut, yeah.
Yeah, uppercut. Yeah, excuse me, not undercut. That's a haircut. But it was all at the same time, and turned out all of the things that happened turned out to be like a massive blessing because like I didn't like my job. I got into a way better relationship, which now I'm engaged. Woohoo! And I got back into entrepreneurship, right? Because I'd done entrepreneurship in the past, but like I felt like I lost my hustle working in tech, which I'll talk about later. But
Yeah.
anyway, I moved back to Seattle with the idea of like figuring out what to do next. And I've been into cooking for my entire life. I've been cooking since I was 8 years old. And I was just messing around in the kitchen and I tried making ice cream out of cha. And I'd previously tried making like cold brew and cold brew nitro chas. Like I got one of those like whip it machines and I put cha.
And you've been cooking like since you were like 8, for context.
Yes, I've been cooking for like my entire life. I have a lot of allergies, so my mom taught me how to cook when I was really young. And I cook every day now. It's great. I love it. It's one of the best things anyone can learn.
We've had the pleasure of dining.
Yeah,
Us and Arab.
yeah. And Arav had half the pleasure of dining because he refused
Arab had
to
like a
eat.
third.
Yeah. But anyway, I made the ice cream at home. I was just like messing around and I dug up this old ice cream maker from my mom's garage and I pulled it out and I just fucked around and made it. And I served it to my dad and my dad was like, damn, this is good. You should try selling it. I was like, I should. So I said, fuck it. Like 2 weeks from there, I was like, I'm going to launch in 2 weeks. So I put on my Instagram like a picture of myself holding it and being like, anyone want to try this? And like 10 people responded and I tweaked the recipes a little bit and I literally drove around and I gave them all samples.
Yeah.
And I figured out like what spices, how much sugar to use, all that type of stuff. And then I made a logo in Figma in about an hour and a half. And then I bought the domain and I built a
What was the domain?
thechicecream.com, I think.
How'd you come up with the name? Just
a pun, dude. Like, actually, you know what's really funny is like me and my fiance, like actually before we even started dating, this was like years ago, we came up with a huge ass like Apple Notes document of different jaw related puns. Like
You and your fiance before you were.
yeah,
before
we
you were
dated.
dating?
Before we were dating.
So you were just with a random girl coming up with chai puns?
yes.
So that's what
I will pull this
I mean,
up
they're
right
engaged now, so I guess
Yeah, we're engaged. It worked.
So
it worked.
to everybody watching,
Yes.
come up with.
This is like,
It has to be chai, right?
yeah, like it was stuff like the London chai, like for a location and
You guys
In
came up
London.
with location and everything.
yeah, like dude,
Y'all
it
were
was,
dating. Y'all just didn't know it yet.
yeah, dude, it was great. I'll find this later and send it to you, but it was hilarious. We had like this entire gigantic document of different jaw related puns.
But why?
It's just fun, bored. So we were like 22. Oh no, we were like 24 probably.
Huh.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So
And then
And
that
then-
inspired you to
23 maybe. Yeah.
run.
Yeah, and then when I made this ice cream, I looked back on this list and I was like, hey, ice cream sounds right.
You know what's interesting about that story is you said you gave yourself 2 weeks to launch. I feel like most side like fun projects, hobby projects, they all die out because people take too long to
They
launch.
take way too long.
If you just force yourself to launch within a week or two, most of the time you'll figure it out. No one remembers where they were when Twitter launched. No one's going to remember where they were when your thing launched either. So
That's
you're much
exactly it.
better off getting something out the door than waiting for a month or two before it's perfect.
That's right. And also, it kind of comes back to what I was saying about stress earlier, right? If you are a high stress individual, you're going to stress about every single random detail that at the end of the day doesn't matter, right? Because I understand how to like think about these type of things and I've been in this product process many times, I was able to look and see, hey, what matters? I need a logo. I need a website like for people to order it. I need pictures and I need a recipe. That's it. That's
Yeah.
fucking it, right? Like,
How can you break down what you need to the most like bare bones?
yeah,
necessity?
exactly. Right. So what I did is I made a website, like took me a day because I'm an engineer, right? So I wrote a website with like some really basic ordering thing. The order thing was jank as hell. People would like write in and then they would get a text to Venmo me. Like it was wild.
Send Cash App.
Yeah. And then I took photos. I'll actually pull up the photos.
You had
of
some
this.
cool photos though.
Yeah, but
Send them in so Eric can like display them.
yeah. Well, I'll send them in. But basically, what I did is I literally took construction paper and I folded it in a specific way, and I took photos around the construction paper with my ice cream sitting in front of it.
Huh.
Yeah, this shit was wild. Here we go.
Oh, that's cool.
That's clean.
Yeah, it's construction paper.
Ooh.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Hold up to the camera. Oh, sweet.
Oh.
It's just a
You
iPhone
put
camera.
the Parle G on there.
Yeah, Parle G. That's it. You know, like I know my audience, right? My audience would be brown people and like hipster white people in cities, right? So I was like, okay,
Parle G.
yeah, Parle G would speak to everyone, right? So I was like, okay, cool.
Imagine you got the licensing for the baby.
Yeah, dude,
That would be wild.
wild. That'd be wild. There's a baby on the packet of Parle
Yo,
G.
how old do you think that baby is now?
Bro, it's just him. It's just, like,
Whoa! Why?
I just gotta, yeah, that's why we got him as the Bifrost mascot. It's just we just got the brand recognition of Parle G.
Parle G, baby.
I'm catching strays on my own podcast. This is crazy. My own CEO.
Wait, I
flaming
wasn't
me
aware
on
that
my
this
own
was the
podcast.
doc with Vishal. This is the doc with Omar
No,
Waseem. What are you talking about
that's
here?
Omar Waseem.
Ooh, okay.
I'm Waseem.
Okay. Oh, Omar and Waseem. Okay, there we go. Okay, back to the story about this. I feel like this is going to be pain for a lot of people to listen to because we get distracted
I
like every 5
apologize.
seconds.
Pain should motivate you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
pain motivates me. I'm getting stronger every minute just
Exactly.
doing this. Yeah,
I lost
thanks,
like half my
thanks.
brain cells.
Yeah, I'm firing on my last 3 neurons. But anyway, I just got all this shit together and I got this old ice cream maker and I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm launching. So I put it on Twitter and I was expecting 20 orders in the first week or so. And I started selling for like $10 a pint. And it got to 150,000 impressions in the first day
Of what? Instagram?
off Twitter.
Twitter.
Twitter,
Oh.
wow.
It
Is that
popped
where
off
your
on Twitter.
followers come from? They give a good amount.
Actually, mostly from founding.
Oh.
From both, actually, I would say.
Bro, most of his followers don't even know what he does.
Yeah, that's actually probably true. Actually, my Instagram followers, nobody knows what I do, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, it got like 150K impressions and I got like 120 orders in the first like half day.
Oh, wow.
And I had no way of fulfilling that many orders of ice cream. Like, cause I had like one ice cream maker where I had to like freeze the tub and then unfreeze it.
Yeah.
And like
crazy.
do it and then put it back in the freezer. And I literally texted all my customers of like, hey, like, you'll get it in the first week. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I can't do all this at once. And then everyone was like super understanding. And then what I did is I hit up every random auntie in the area and I was like, who got an ice cream machine? And I managed to borrow 5 ice cream machines.
Wow.
And I had an assembly line of 5 ice cream machines running in my garage. Literally an assembly line, dude. I can't even like
And you had
exaggerate
like
that.
your like little cousins, like 5 of them.
No, it was all
churning
me.
out.
It was me.
Okay.
And I would churn it, put it in the freezer, go to the next one, churn it, put it in the freezer. I bought a chest freezer. I stocked up pints of ice cream. I went to cash and carry and just got like these pint-sized things.
Yeah.
And then I was on the road 3 to 4 hours a day delivery. I had people, I charged extra for delivery. So I was on the road 3-4 hours a day doing delivery. It all would go into a spreadsheet, and then I would like manually look up the addresses and figure out a good route for me to go and deliver everything. Wow. Like, all right, I'm going to go to Kent this day. I'm going to go to like Mercer Island this day.
Yeah.
And, like all of these type of things. This was in Seattle, by the way. And I was literally on the road delivering ice cream and selling ice cream for many hours a day.
How many days did you do that for straight?
Dude, every day for months.
For months. So
Yeah,
you did this for months.
Yeah.
But I'm saying at what point, so you did this for a few months and then you were like, all right,
No, so I mean, like I did all sorts of different interesting things on top of it,
Yeah.
like, and I could go into like why I shut it down after a while.
Yeah.
But first before that, like I wanted to get like high retention and people to really be happy about it. I dabbled in calligraphy at one point, so for the first 150-ish pints of ice cream, I did handwritten notes for everyone, like handwritten thank you notes, and then people like the idea was that people would post them and turned out working. So people would post these like handwritten
He built
notes.
a
good idea.
viral growth loop.
You never read me a handwritten.
Yeah,
note.
and they like people would like talk about. They'd be like, "Dude, I love this pint of ice cream," like, and they would post it on their Twitter, and then it would get me more orders. And then what turned out is people really liked the ice cream, so most of my orders became reorders after a while, right? Which was pretty awesome. I really liked that. And then I started doing like random promotions. Like I did something for Rakhi, which is like a Indian holiday where you have like sibling love, and you like the guys give a gift to their sister. So I just made this like branded thing where you get a pint of ice cream and a Rakhi with it, and
Smart.
I gave it to people. I used to set up at the bottom of hiking trails, like with just pints of ice cream.
That's smart.
I'd sell it for a little bit more down there. I once pulled up to like Gasworks Park with like a bunch of ice cream, which is a park in Seattle that gets pretty hot. I used to do all sorts of random
What
shit
was
like
your
that.
MRR?
My MRR was like pretty decent, I would say. Like
What is it?
I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but I sold like thousands of pints of ice cream. So
How much per pint?
10 to 15 per pint. Only problem is it's incredibly difficult to scale ice cream. And the reason is because the machines are expensive as hell. Like I got like a bougie ice cream maker after a while, but even that had like a pretty hard cut in terms of like how much it could produce in an hour. And there was still a lot of manual effort involved. And if I wanted to scale my production past what it was, it would cost me like 50, 60K. And that's
Did you think about like taking a loan or like?
Yes, I did think about it. I would have to finance it if I did that because I'm not sitting on like $1,000, right? But I realized that if I wanted to do that, it would be my life from then on forward. And I'd previously like worked in tech, and I had like a real estate thing going on the side, and I had like small solopreneur projects going on the side, and I was like, I'm not ready to turn this into my life. And I thought that there would be a lot more leverage I could take and scale I could take with tech without these type of issues. So I decided I didn't want to do that full time. But before that, I got into like a cafe and stuff too. Like one of my buddies sold
you did?
this cafe.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was pretty cool. And it was really a fun time running. I love running food businesses. And my idea to like scale it without production like funnels was to like do it for events instead. So like build like a cart. Like one of my close friends is a general contractor, so he could build me like a little cute ice cream cart and then pull up to Indian weddings. And dude, Indian wedding events, you could charge like
So much.
$1,500 easy for like 2-3 hours.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. But I didn't want to run that myself. I had too many other things going on.
The second we get off this podcast, he's gonna be like, "Yo, I got an idea for you."
Yeah. Dude, no, I literally like
saw
was
that look.
actively looking
Yeah,
for
we could
someone.
run it.
Yeah, I was actively looking for like a high school kid to go and run that. If you're a high school kid watching this, hit me up, all right? Like, yeah, okay, never mind. the outsourcing is taking your jobs.
It's just use an internal employee that you have.
Oh yeah, this is a good point. Our mascot and ice cream man.
Because Umer's telling me I'm not doing a good job coding.
And Umar is
Yeah,
your
so let's just
AI.
move you to a different task.
So he's my PM.
Umar is your PM.
I have this theory that I don't want to hire PMs at my company. Because I worked at Expensify for quite a long period of time. Actually, not that long, but like I worked there.
Okay, what's
And
Expensify like?
Expensify is 130 people at the time, 0 PMs, and completely flat organization.
How?
We just had the right processes in place in order to like inform everyone how to do product in their own way.
And what's the valuation again? It's like $1 billion.
Yeah,
right?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but it went public.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Expensify was a pretty interesting organization. So as I said, 130 people, flat organization, 0 PMs, right? And the way that it worked is we just had like really good processes and automation around GitHub that really smartly assigned who would work on what. And people had the autonomy to pick on what mattered the most to customers. And we had like all these different interesting processes, which I'll get into, that basically allowed us to work without having PMs, right? A lot of that came down to hiring and processes, right?
Okay, let's talk about hiring first then.
Yeah. So hiring, basically the entire company contributed to hire every single employee.
How? There's 130.
Yep. We had one open channel for hiring. And every day that there was a candidate that came in person, the entire company would read that channel and contribute to it.
How would they contribute? Like, this person looks good. Can you do this or what?
Yep. I like that answer. I didn't like this answer for these reasons. And there would be open discussion within those channels.
Wow.
Right? And basically like the first, like for engineering, for example, there would be like a front end challenge, a back end challenge, and then like 2 behavioral interviews. And whenever the person finished the interview, they would share their notes within the public channel and they would talk about like what the person said. And then at the end, there would like literally no matter what your role is, there would be like this teaser that you presented in front of the entire company. So everyone would tune in for like a half hour every time there was a candidate and everyone would watch them solve this problem. And then we would open the floor to the candidate and they would talk to us and ask us questions. And the specific thing is they had to point out a specific person and ask the question to them. So you just have this crowd of people standing in front of you and you have to be like, you there in the flannel shirt, what is it like to work here or whatever?
Oh, the US. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh,
So it was pretty interesting. And I think that in this hiring process, it led to hiring people with a large sense of ownership, a high sense of autonomy, and a low ego, right? Because like that's the only way you would pass those type of process. And those people tend to think from a customer perspective really heavily. So when it actually came to doing the work at Expensify, everyone thought from a product manager perspective, no matter what your function was, right?
Did Expensify spend a lot of money on training?
Not too much. Yeah.
So then how would you onboard someone that's worked at big tech under like a product manager for 4 years into that like ownership, everyone takes like control, et cetera?
Because the processes were done in such a way that it encouraged people to like just get into the weeds and figure it out. And
So
we only
then-
hired people who would do that, right? So
If I'm a front-end engineer, right, tomorrow and I got hired, what is it like? What's my flow?
Yeah, so let me talk to you about how like tickets and stuff work there. So everything is run through GitHub issues at Expensify, and GitHub issues can be made by literally anyone at the organization, right? And they're encouraged to be made at all times, right? So if I'm a customer success person and I went on a call with a customer and they have some feature requests, GitHub tickets, right? If I am a salesperson and some issues come up during a call, GitHub issues. If our backend error tracking thing like fucks up and like, it comes up with some issue, it becomes a GitHub issue, right? And then everything is assigned with a priority, hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, right? And that's not the amount of time the ticket should take. It's the amount of time in which that needs to be updated over and over again, right? So an hourly ticket is like super high priority. It needs to be updated every hour. A daily issue needs to be updated every day. A weekly issue has to be updated every week, monthly issue every month. And if a ticket isn't updated within the time of the next size, right? Like if an hourly issue isn't updated for a day, if a daily issue isn't updated for a week, it goes down in priority automatically. Because what that means is it probably doesn't matter enough if somebody isn't pinging you on this. So it automatically degrades issues in the priority list.
Wow.
Right? And then as engineers, we have like a defined spread of what we should take at any given time, right? Like any engineer should generally have like 1 to 2 daily tasks, 2 to 3 weekly tasks, and like 4 monthly tasks.
Say that again?
Like any engineer at the company, if you're a new front-end engineer, you're encouraged to like split out your time so you have at least like 1 to 2 daily tasks, 2 to 3 weekly tasks, or 4 monthly tasks. That's generally how it worked.
What's the difference in examples of like a weekly task and a daily task?
Yeah, it's the issues. Like if there's like let's say that X customer needs something to be happen on the dashboard automatically for them, right? That might be a weekly task, right? Or like there is something that needs to be done for like the Expensify card that's being released on the back end, and that needs to be done in the next couple of months. So this is a monthly task. It's a little bit lower priority. Or there's something breaking on our chatbot. I worked a lot on our chatbots. Something's breaking on our chatbot that's leading to a lot of customer issues is an hourly task. So I'm going to have like a spread of these tasks, and that's generally how it works. And at the end, based on the amount of issues you close, that's kind of how like you're reviewed on your performance, right? So it kind of encourages everyone to like look at the spread of tasks, which comes from like the product people who are talking, or the customer people who are talking to customers all the time. And it makes you think critically of like, okay, what needs to be done? What doesn't need to be done? And it makes you say, hey, these are the things I need to do. And it made it so we didn't need PMs. The other thing that we did, because this is all for like kind of maintenance mode, right? Like this, like everything I've said so far won't work if you're on the earliest stage trying to like hack something together. But what we did for that is something called design docs. So everyone at the business would be able to contribute to a design talk at any time. Right.
Oh, interesting.
And like, for example, like one of them was the Expensify, that Super Bowl commercial, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So there was a massive design doc when I was working there about that.
What went into it?
Dude, everyone was just contributing about like, okay, we should get X people like working on it. There was like somebody talking about some charity things that we could do for it. There was somebody talking about all these things. And then it would just be all these massive comments on the side of this Google Doc. And we would just like slowly contribute to it. And then as it got more fleshed out, the people contributed the most would become point people and split out the tasks, come up with a squad. If it was an engineer, they would try to recruit an engineer to own that technical side. And then it would be split out that way.
The culture is super interesting because you had also showed me the lounge.
Yeah.
and how that kind of came about.
What's the lounge?
Yeah, there's an Expensify lounge right now. I mean, I haven't been to Expensify for quite a long time, so I'm probably quite out of date. But they just have a fun culture. Like they build nice things.
You went?
I've been to the lounge.
You have? Oh, nice. Who'd you meet there?
One of the founders here.
Oh, nice.
That came here.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. I mean, their lounge looks amazing. It's at the office I used to work at, but they moved to a couple of floors up and they built something new there. So I haven't actually been there yet.
What makes it so interesting?
Dude, like they just like to have fun together, right? Like it's really funny because like everyone there knows they're not working on the sexiest problem ever. They're just like, okay, let's get rich and have some fun, you know? Like, and it's great. Everyone's like very open about that and they just have a good time working. Everyone was homies, really open, really open culture. Used to travel for a full month every single year. It's called offshores. So when I was there, I worked in Italy for a month, which is sick. Yeah, it was fire. It was fire. I get to stay at this like crazy ass resort. And
do you go with like a group of employees?
Every employee.
Oh, every employee.
Every single employee. Yeah.
Hey man, can you talk to someone, put a little word for us?
Yeah, sponsored by Expensify.
Can Bifrost sponsor an effing trip?
Hey, I don't know about that yet. Let's get to our next round.
I'm talking to my people here.
His contact.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Talk to our
Bifrost,
mascot,
right? Yeah.
There's no product.
Hey, we have a product. We're in market, right?
All right, give us the details on Bifrost.
Yeah, Bifrost is the first design to code tool that I would say actually works. If you've ever been like an engineer in the context of like a business with like a PM and like a designer, you're generally going to have the PM and the designer working on like kind of what's next, and there's just going to be a bunch of like designs made. Right?
Yeah.
And an engineer's task is to implement those designs and implement the business logic, right? But we kind of realized that, hey, implementing the designs here is redoing the work that's already been done.
Because you build
by
the whole
designer
thing in Figma, and then someone else has to just code the whole thing
in React, right? And I don't think that's a good use of time for engineers, right? Engineers should be focused on the tasks that not only are the most impactful for the business, but actually is the most interesting for themselves, right? And that really just comes down to implementing business logic, getting asynchronous data, and figuring out front-end architecture, right? Doing like styling on top of like random divs and going down all this crazy nesting of CSS, I don't think makes sense for engineers to have to focus on. And I think doing generative code in that way was really difficult in the past. And I'd actually tried it in the past before Bifrost. I'll tell you about that too. But with AI, there was a pretty big unlock about generating clean code that allowed us to like kind of automate these processes and just make people a lot faster.
Because Karthik put out a pretty viral video when you guys first did like a mini demo.
Oh, I remember before we even knew you guys, everyone was like buzzing about, one of the effing companies just went viral on Twitter.
Yeah, we went quite viral for our video. That was like generative code. We were essentially like taking Figma screens and turning them into clean React, and everyone looked at the code and they're like, yo, shit, this code is actually clean and nice. And we'd also done like generate functionality where we could kind of assume what functionality there is in a specific component. We ended up not like keeping that feature or developing it further because it's really hard to control, and a lot of engineers don't actually like that, right? They just want to like get the base done in a consistent and like predictable way, and then go from there, right? But we went pretty viral and got like a really strong wait list, got a bunch of users, started onboarding people, and we've slowly been onboarding, iterating. Now we're gearing up for like killing the wait list and doing a public launch soon, the next week or so.
Oh, the next week. How many people are you expecting?
Probably a couple thousand.
What's going into your launch from a marketing perspective?
From a marketing perspective, just videos to put on Twitter. That's about it.
Videos for dev tools, it feels like Twitter is just the hack. If you can just get either a founder with a following or just getting a bunch of DevRels to just like make videos about it, it seems like the easiest way.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people are apt to try out like new AI tools a lot, right? I wouldn't say like our tool is like super AI heavy, but like I think it is enough for people to want to at least try it out. But that also leads to a lot of like retention issues because you get a lot of like flyaway customers. Like people are just like trying to play with something and then just dip, right?
True.
But like, I think the biggest thing, like I talked about earlier, is just talk to users a lot and understand that like there's only going to be a small cohort of these folks that are going to be like very retentive, but you need to like really focus on what their problems are and solve them.
Interesting.
Is that like your North, like you said before, like
Retention.
having the vision? But what's like the long-term vision of, like, what in a perfect world, who's using this and how are they using it?
Yeah, in a perfect world, the front-end engineers aren't writing CSS from scratch ever again, right? Like anything that they generate or anything that they build is like generated about 80% of the way there, and they're just like hooking together business logic.
Is it Tailwind? Do you guys have like
We support Tailwind and Chakra right now.
support Chakra?
Yes, sir.
Sweet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's like a couple of capabilities before launch that we need to fix up for Chakra beforehand. Like right now we support component sets in Tailwind, but we don't in Chakra. But in the next 2-ish days, that should be done.
Nice.
Our boy Liam's working on it.
Shout out Aleem.
Shout out to Liam.
Actually, a good question I had for him, because you have a life as a founder.
What is that?
I don't know if I have that much of a life.
But you have like
You have a life.
You're a person.
Yes, I am a person. Because I had a life before I became a founder.
Think very carefully about where you're going with this.
You're one of the more interesting people I've met. Let's put it like that.
So you're offending everyone else you met. You know, the only people in this office, the people who watch this podcast, are people you know. No one else watches this thing.
But you have a lot of hobbies.
I don't have as many hobbies anymore. I'll say that. Right? Like I had to drop a lot when I became a founder. Right? But I think that's a good thing. Right? I understand what you're asking.
You know what? I'm basically asking, like, give us, like, I'd love to hear, like, your actual daily or even weekly schedule. Because, like, you're not the type, oh, I'm up 20 hours just doing one thing. Like, you're very balanced. Obviously, you have a fiance.
No, I mean, I am like that in a lot of ways, right? Like, I don't know if you're fully right about that, but no.
He's like, no, I have no life, please.
Okay,
Like, you have 3 kids, right? Every question I ask, he's like, no, that's not.
Michelle
It's
was
just
like,
the way you're asking things.
Michelle was
Okay.
gonna be. Michelle was like, "Yo, I know Samraaj so well. This episode is gonna be one of our best ones yet." Every question he's asked, you're like, "Well, no, actually."
But actually,
So Raj's signature is always, he's like, I wasn't listening, but let me tell you this. And it's
Yeah.
something off topic.
Yeah, he's the I'm sorry that happened or happy for
I'm
you.
I'm very like, that's exactly what I am, dude. I'm very like unibrained. If that makes sense.
Unibrained?
I don't think that's a word,
But
but
how do you have time? Like, how do you have
Yeah.
time to cook? Do like a tonal workout?
Here's a good
Do
point.
all these startup things? You
a
spend
good
time
question.
with family? Like, you give, because I'm sure a lot of founders actually have problems.
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So one thing that's kind of a non-answer here is I had a life previous to becoming a founder.
Okay.
And maintaining relationships is a lot easier than building relationships.
That's a good point.
Right. So, and everyone that I have a close relationship with understands that, like, yo, this dude's doing some intense shit. Like, I can't blame him for not being like super responsive
Interesting.
and things.
Okay.
Right. And all the hobbies that I had, I'm not building new hobbies from scratch. I'm doing things that I already know how to do. Does that make sense?
That
That's a
makes
really
sense.
good
So, like for cooking, for example, right? This is what I say to people who ask me about getting into cooking. It's like, if you're a founder and you're trying to learn how to cook from scratch, like, good luck. Like, you could do it. You could do it for sure. And I think it's good for you, but it's going to be way harder for you. For me, like, cooking is an escape, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's something that I could just like completely build my mind into and not think about work, not think about anything else, and just get into a creative act, right? And I can prepare a bunch of shit ahead of time, like on the weekend. Like, I'll prepare some sauces, I'll prepare random things, and I'll just have fun with it, right? And then during the week, cooking takes me like 20 minutes, right? Like, I'll make like chicken shawarma, it takes me 10 minutes,
Yeah.
15 minutes probably. I'll make like salmon and rice with like a couple of sides. It takes
Yeah.
me like 15 minutes.
Okay.
I make dinner for my fiance and myself every day, and it takes me like 30 minutes, right? Like, it's because I have been doing this for 20 years of my life, right? So it's like I understand how to do it really well to the point where it's just a maintenance mode thing for me, right? Working out was a little bit harder for me to get into the routine of, because I wasn't lifting before this. I
Yeah.
would always do like dancing and sports and stuff like that. So I wasn't like actively a lifter, but I got like pretty heavily into lifting about a year ago. And one thing about it is it makes you better at working. Like, who would have thought? But when you put yourself through that physical activity, it makes
Yeah.
you like a lot more direct.
So you're saying like exercise is essential.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
Yeah.
Like, exercise and keeping care of your health makes you make better decisions. Kind of like I was talking about stress eating you away. Doing this kills your stress. Like,
Yeah.
And it makes you a lot more directed and makes you
Because you went
way
from a
clearer.
place of high stress
Yes.
to learning how to balance it. And I'm sure a lot of people
Yeah.
are like, how do I get, like, I'm really stressed out and it seems like there's no end in sight.
Yeah. So I mean, YC was one of like the most stressful things I've ever done because it was so intense. And yeah, like getting into working out and actively separating myself was one of the greatest things I did. Right. And also having an amazing supportive partner is obviously like the best.
Yeah.
Shout out to my fiance, just Karen. And just having a partner that is self-sufficient and you really enjoy spending time with, and you're able to just like feel so rejuvenated after like having time with them.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing blessing. And it made me such a higher like impact individual by doing that. Like I choose what I work on better. I think about things a lot more long-term and strategically for my family. And I think after spending time with her, I get the best work done. Right. And it's great. It's absolutely the best.
How do you find time to like hang out with her then? Because she also, I forget what she does, but I think she goes to like med school.
No, she's an optometrist.
Optometrist. So she already works.
Yeah, she already works. Yeah.
So how do you find time?
I mean, after work for her and for me, right? So like, I believe in long-term sustained productivity, right? And like, you know, startups aren't like a short-term like bust. Like you're not like over there just trying to get something knocked out and leave, right? Like startups are a long-term adventure with long-term people and long-term benefits, right? And the only way that you're going to be productive on a long-term timescale is with long-term sustained productivity. You're not going to be like able to work 15 hours a day for the rest of your life or for years at a time. It makes no sense. You just have to set up the right boundaries and the right appreciation towards work, as well as being able to take like, if a call comes in at 9, you're taking it no matter what. Yeah. If like external things happen at 2 a.m., you're going to do it. You're going to do it. Fuck yeah. But like in terms of things without like the external, where you're just like structuring yourself internally, give yourself the right balance, but work intensely hard, because when you get back to work after spending time away from it, you're going to do way better, and you're going to make way better decisions and focus on the right thing. Right. And on top of that, like when I spend time with my fiance, phone in a different room. Like, like, I mean, it's hard now because like we have our wedding and stuff like that. Right. Like, so we always have to like do all this planning stuff, which is, yeah, it's a lot, but like otherwise, like figure out how to throw your phone in a different room, figure out how to do that. So you're actually just like together. Right. And then other things like, dude, like if you want to watch something, like we'll watch movies as shows. Like that's what we do. We just watched Titanic over 4 nights. Does that make sense?
Like, it's the most out of pocket thing you've said all episode.
It doesn't make sense.
Yes, it does.
He's
what
like,
are you talking about?
You're
We watched
consuming it in the raw. That's not how they intended you to consume it.
Sucks for James Cameron.
It's like all the way at like
too
the
bad.
very end. They're both standing on the ship. They're like, oh, time to go to bed.
It's actually, yeah,
tomorrow.
like we literally look at each other. It's like, all right, that's episode 1. Like,
but you can do this with movies you haven't seen, because you're like,
I mean, you got to. Like, I don't got like 4 hours to spare or 3 hours to spare on like a random night.
All right, we gonna do this tonight.
this is the weirdest.
That's normal, dude. You just like sacrifices you got to take, right?
Movie recommendations.
Like in the list of
We're
sacrifices.
not talking about his movie recommendations.
Yeah, I ain't taking no movie, TV recommendations.
Bro, after he gave us that first recommendation, I was never taking another
So what happened at the office?
No, do it.
Yeah. So what happened? What happened earlier?
Eric, do not cut this.
Yeah, do not cut this. So what happened?
Eric, please cut this.
We'll censor the parts we should censor.
Yeah,
go for
so
it.
Bleeps.
What happened earlier is Apple announced their VR headset, and I went up to these guys and I was like, there's like this incredible episode of Black Mirror about this exact topic.
Yeah.
And it really touches on like the societal ramifications of this technology, and I think there's something similar that'll actually end up under happening in like your guys' living situation.
And then
you guys just
But you also
live
said
together.
it's important to Founders Inc.
And it's important
just
to Founders
the
Inc. and
overall
understand
media.
He told Vishal you should watch it. I get a text from Samraaj. Me and Samraaj, we're friends. We don't text each other very often.
I'm like, you guys should watch it.
He's like, you and Vishal need to watch this episode.
And the episode is
It's called
Striking Vipers.
And that's all we're going to say on the subject. If you've
Yeah.
watched it, you've watched it.
Yeah, if you haven't, go
oh damn.
go watch it.
I got 5 minutes into the episode. I was like, yo, Vishal, I've seen this before. I'm going. I'm not going to finish it.
Yeah.
He was
And
like,
then-
no. The whole way through he watches it, and I
And
go
then
back
every
sometimes.
plot point, I was like, no. There's a bigger payoff.
I'd like go into the living room
Like
sometimes. I'm like,
Samraaj,
bro,
this-
like this is all there is. He's like, no, there's more.
Yeah, this super dedicated founder who's highly respected, one of the most intelligent people I know, told me I have to sit down and watch this like 7 times.
He like
Actually, I didn't
trusted
even
you.
say that.
He trusted you so much. He was like, no, Samraaj
I
wouldn't do this to
trusted
me.
you so much. I was like, there's a greater point to all of this that will change
all
my
the
life.
way till the end of the episode. He asked if there were end credits.
That's hella funny. I
I stayed for the whole thing, and I was like, something's still coming.
I also specified that they need to sit next to each other. on the
Yeah,
couch.
you did say that. And I didn't pick up on like why he kept saying like you need to sit next to each other.
And then 5 minutes in, I was like, yo, here's what's gonna happen.
And the best is he asked like usually like when you give a recommendation, you just give a recommendation.
And then
He's like, no. But he was like, hey, like, you guys have a couch, right?
What? Because I need them to. I need you guys to sit
How
next.
big is the couch? How big is the room? Okay, so now that I know
How
the
big your room
specs
is.
of this room and couch, you guys need to watch this.
Yeah, I actually sent them a drawing of them sitting next to each other, holding hands and watching Striking Vipers. No, I'm just kidding about that part.
He sent it to me. Yeah. I didn't think anything of it. I
He was
thought
like,
a
"Oh, yeah,
very
this is cute.
friendly thing.
This is
that
This isn't even a troll, but you're just dumb. You're stupid.
Hey man, we need to work on our hiring processes.
But my Slack emojis.
Yeah, he's got a Slack emoji on our Slack. I need
do.
to get you one.
I would love one.
Yep. So, yep. Other thing is having a fiance and like having a partner that's self-sufficient and supportive is incredible for being a better founder. Then the other thing is only do things that add energy. Don't do things that detract energy.
So does working out count as adding energy or detracting?
It adds energy.
Yeah, but
in the right way.
that's easier said than done. Like, how do you
Definitely
actually
easier said than
like?
done, right? But like, it's kind of like, okay, I really enjoy building my company, right? Like,
Okay.
when I get into a good flow state, I come out of it energized.
Okay.
I don't come out of it like feeling like shit. We have hired people that I enjoy spending time with. I come to the office, except for our mascot, but I come to the office excited to spend the day with like our
Vishal.
Yeah, with Vishal, sure, maybe about that. But like Amar, Karthik, Samuel, and Aleem, like I'm excited to spend time with them. Like I really enjoy it. And guess what? I go back home at the end of the day energized, right? I'm like happy to like go and be like, yeah, I get to spend time with my fiance now, and then I get to go work again, right? Sick. I'm happy, right? And when you make the decisions like that, like it doesn't feel like working. You're not going to be burnt out, and then that way you actually have room for these hobbies, right? And stuff, right? Like when I like go play pickleball, for example, right? I know you've been looking me up and down. I mean, knowing I'm in peak physical.
He really has the
peak-
physique.
I have
was
not been
thinking.
looking at you
Peak
at all. I'm looking
pickleball
I'm looking
physique.
behind.
Well, I look at you up and down multiple times a day.
Yeah. And you're like, damn, that guy's in good pickleball shape.
That guy can hit the nastiest
Dink.
dink.
What's a
ever
dink?
Dinking is when you're at the net and you tap the pickle ball over the net. Yeah. I'm into pickleball. But
He loves pickleball.
yeah. But after I play pickleball, I'm excited. I get home and I'm fucking energized. You know? Like that's like the way that I'm able to balance these things. It's just like I have a good relationship with all the things I do. And then it just makes it so I do it at like in a way that doesn't detract energy from
He
me.
loves the strategy too. Like he'll like when we play together,
I was
he'd
listening
like tell
so
me where to
intently to
line
this
up.
podcast until he said pickleball and dink.
And dinking, bro. You know, you're trying to link and dink. That's my new phrase. So when you want me to play pickleball, you say, I'm gonna link and dink.
You should end it on chai scream. You were on like a high there.
Yeah.
Like in my head, you were like up here.
No, what you're looking at is calculated. You know, he's at the gym benching. I'm sacrificing my life at In-N-Out eating 2 double-doubles just to get in the right shape for pickleball.
That's crazy. You
I,
have such
I've
a
seen-
diverse team because you're in pickleball shape, Amar's in spike ball shape.
Karthik's just in shape. Actually, Samuel's hella like fit, dude.
Really?
Like, that guy could like bench more than me and Umar.
Damn.
I would say.
So
yeah,
Aleem versus Arab in the ring.
yeah, it'd be fire.
Who do you have?
Aleem.
Karthik would train him?
Wait,
Right?
Can you
So,
give
dude, I'll
the,
train him,
Can you
dude.
give the context?
That's my view on it too. Like if you and Karthik train him, I think he's gonna beat Arb because Arb doesn't have anyone to train him.
Actually, all of us on the Bifrost team are like quite like active about our health and our fitness.
Okay.
Every single person at Bifrost, like we care about ourselves, right? So like,
Yeah.
if Aleem needs to do some sort of physical fitness task, we're getting him on it.
Wow.
You know, we're gonna.
what a
he
company
He's
culture.
got the team behind him.
No product managers though.
Yeah, no problem, man.
I know I'm not a product manager. Correct.
He's a mascot.
I'm a dog, yes.
Yeah, you got that dog in you.
Hey, I have his tweets, by the way.
Ooh,
Which tweets?
that's how you know
I'm
we're
actually
almost done
kinda
with the
scared of
episode.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared about this one.
Every time we like have nothing else to say, Vishal's like, okay, tweets.
I
So
got
on April 3rd, you tweeted grapes are such an underrated fruit.
Hey, did you bring grapes?
No.
Oh shit, I was gonna
I'm not
demonstrate.
trying to seduce you.
Okay. I was excited. I thought you were gonna.
Oh,
feed
you're
me
going to do
grapes.
the grape peeling thing?
Dude, this is part of your tasks as a mascot is to feed us grapes as we write code.
Hey, let's not do this here. In front
He does
of
all
regular.
that.
We don't have to do it.
Yeah,
we
he
can do
doesn't
this
like
in the
it.
one-on-one.
I see. Yeah, but no, grapes are underrated, dude. Like, when do you ever go to a restaurant and like you just get grapes? Never, right? Like
This episode's going downhill.
I don't know about
say
that.
What did you just say?
When do you go to a restaurant and they just have grapes on the menu? Actually, that like sometimes they'll have fruit on the menu, but it's never just grapes.
They have olives.
Why should they do that?
These grapes are fire. They're underrated.
It's like just grapes at a restaurant?
Yeah,
Grape
I
garden.
actually once
You were in a cafe, right? Was it just grapes on the menu?
No, it's just ice cream. No, actually, you know, one time I, for my sister's birthday many years ago, this is like 2018, we'd gone to a winery, right? And this is like a winery in Wooden Mill, Washington. And we went to like the counter and we got a charcuterie board.
Yeah.
And it had like all these meats and stuff like that and these grapes, right? I'm eating these grapes. I'm like, man, these grapes are so good, right? And everyone we were with, like my cousin, my brother-in-law, my other cousin, and one of our friends, like I was like, dude, try these grapes. And everyone was like, dude, those grapes are good. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, like we're on a winery, they make wine out of grapes. These grapes must be like they're homegrown, awesome grapes.
Yeah.
So I went to like the bartenderess and I was like, yo, did you like, where are these grapes from? Like, did you guys grow these in house? And she's like, oh no, these are from Costco. Like, so right after the winery,
right there. That was the intro.
I went right to Costco. I bought a pack of grapes and I peeled them all by mouth.
What?
I peel grapes when I eat them. Like I bite the top and I like peel them and then I pop the rest of the grape in my mouth.
Next tweet.
Okay.
No, I actually already tweeted about that.
You did. It was in our weekly recap.
Yeah.
What? Oh, it wasn't our
Saffron
weekly
put it in the
recap.
weekly recap.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I was asking if you brought grapes. I thought you wanted me to demonstrate.
I want no such thing.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
All right.
Sounds
So
horrible.
this next tweet sums up how good he is at predicting things and like being a founder. On July 14th, 2009, when Twitter launched, you tweeted, "What is this?" ? And then whatever, I'm never going to use it.
Yep.
That's how you have your first name as your at.
Actually, it's a little bit of a longer story than that. That's actually not the account that you're looking at, interestingly enough.
Yes, it is.
It literally says at Samraaj.
That's Samraaj.
I changed my handle.
No,
Then
you
how
did.
does that say at
Yes,
Samraaj?
That's Samraaj, bro.
No, I did. So I tweeted that when I had a different handle. So my
It's the
handle,
same handle.
my handle used to be
No, it's an old. He screenshotted this.
yeah. I screenshotted that. Yeah. So my handle was the Bathman _.
Okay, of
Right?
course it was. His
And-
Wi-Fi is the Bath Cave. His last name is what is it?
Bot, but it's spelled BATH.
Huh.
And I remember at one point, like I woke up one morning and I was like, I wonder who has like at Samraaj. And
Okay.
I looked up at Samraaj and I opened it and that was the only tweet. What is this? Whatever. I'm
Oh,
never
so this
gonna use
wasn't
it.
you.
This was me in 2009 on a different account.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's actually hilarious.
Yeah.
What inception is that?
Dude, literally. And I tried to log in and it goes Samraaj at c***.net. And I was like, oh, fuck. I used to have
Comcast?
Samraaj at comcast.net. And I go and try to log in. Doesn't exist anymore. I stay on customer service line for like 2 hours talking to them.
Okay.
I eventually like open up account with Comcast, a free account, by the way. I didn't pay money for this.
Okay.
And
Thanks for clarifying. Are
I
you
convinced
verified?
them. I convinced them to give me, because they had killed the account. I convinced them to assign Samraaj at Costco.net to my new account. And then I sent a password reset email to myself. I got the code, I got into the account, and then I switched the handles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn,
That was wild.
that was a roller coaster.
Yeah. That was
What a
interesting.
story.
But now I got my first name. Worth it. Like 2 hours this time.
Samraaj a common name?
No, it's very uncommon. Means
Oh.
empire.
It does?
That's pretty tough.
Kingdom or empire.
Oh, shit. All right. Okay. Well, on Empire and Kingdom, you tweeted this. SF tech workers be like, I know a spot, then take you to the view from their office building.
Pretty.
And he took a shot at us.
Is that what you guys do?
I mean, it's a nice view.
it is really nice. Yeah.
I mean, made fun of us.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. Did that even do well? I don't even remember tweeting that. When
It got
was this?
5 retweets. It actually did pretty well. It got 5 retweets and 19 likes.
Oh, damn. Okay. Those are numbers. 19.
See Eric.
I don't
in
even
the
know
background?
19 people.
This one's good. This one's good. My leg fell asleep just now, and I got to wondering if all muscles can fall asleep. Can your brain, which is a muscle, fall asleep?
There's
But wait,
no-
that's called sleep. So you just tech bro discovers sleep? Is that what you just did there?
Did I actually tweet that?
Yeah. Did anyone comment on this?
First comment, the brain is not a muscle.
Some doctor back me up here. Hey, Umar. Umar needs to see this. And he tweets, no, this is the best. He tweets a day later, my brain can beat up your brain. My brain lifts.
No way. At least
How would I make that up? I'm not talented.
Hey, screenshot this so we can't delete it.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh my god. This one was.
My net worth is now in the
The
negative.
brain is not a muscle. LOL. Some doctor back me up here. He like tweeted as if like a doctor was gonna see it. As it's like.
Oh man. Oh, that's hilarious.
He should have like tagged a doctor at least.
Dr.
man.
Mike.
Like Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Dr. Mike.
Dude, at least you know I'm consistent. Because my tweets are still like that.
All muscles can fall asleep. Can your brain, which is a muscle, fall asleep? But wait, that's called sleep.
Dude, that's fire. That's a bar. That's a
I
fucking bar.
apologize to anyone that made it this far into the episode.
Yeah. I actually think like my brain was like not working at the time because I spent so much time on my motorcycle at that point. Like,
The bot man.
yeah, you already know, baby.
Bro, the best. Wait. So the second tweet, January 18, 2022, it says, if you found yourself here, follow me at Samraaj. Did a little account switcheroo to get my first name handle with a smiley face. Bro, you have 5 followers.
Yeah, my fiance and
Like, why even do this? It got no engagement.
In case you're linked to your old
yeah,
app.
because sometimes people will tag me and stuff in like our old launch tweets and stuff. So if they click into it, they'll know it's the actual me. You know
Who
what I'm saying?
followed him? Okay, Oliver Hill,
I don't know who the fuck that is. I don't know any of these.
Is that the Tabs chocolates?
Ish Deal,
Oh, Ishmael.
yourself.
My fiance and my dad. Yeah, my fiance and my dad.
Yo, your dad has program manager,
Yeah, my dad's a program manager.
so he wouldn't make
Hey,
it into
remember when that
Expensify.
dude scam? Remember when that dude scam called your dad?
Dude, that was wild. What? Bro, oh my God. Okay.
We'll end on that. We should actually do that.
Yeah, no, I also have more stuff I could talk about, like my motorcycle and like understanding how to have like creative fulfillment in life and stuff like that. I got all sorts of stuff. Okay. Anyway, so when you become a founder, especially like RNYC and these public directories and stuff, you'll get calls from like fucking agency after agency after agency and emails constantly about random bullshit, right? And one day I was sitting in the car with my co-founder Karthik, and his cousin had just left for England, right? And I get a call from an England number, and I'm thinking, oh shoot, this might be homie. Let me pick it up, right? So I pick up the call, and this guy is like, "Hello, is this Samraaj?" And I say,
Wait, do that again?
"Hello, is this Samraaj?"
Great, thanks. Keep going.
And I say yes, and he's like, "Oh, are you recruiting JavaScript engineers?" Because I was like, "Oh fuck," and I was like, "No," and he's like, "You know,
JavaScript.
and he said that like I was just in contact. I was just talking to Karthik, and Karthik looks over to me. He's just like, "No, fuck this." And so I was like, "Okay, sorry, wrong number. Bye." Right? I close it. Right? Then he hits me on WhatsApp. Then he emails Karthik, and he calls me again like twice. I cancel all of them, and then I get a text from my dad, like, who says, "Hey, I just got a call from this guy and gave him your number. He said that he was talking to Karthik and he was looking for your number," and which is like a huge violation, right? Like,
This
dude,
dude called his dad.
yeah, he like fucking looked
Looking
up my
for
number.
Karthik.
Yeah, because I'm on my dad's like still phone plan because I'm a child apparently. But like when you look up my number, I guess like or my name, like he found my dad's number somehow, right? And basically then Karthik was like, "Dude, what the fuck?" So Karthik emails him, "What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?" And then
Karthik.
he sends me a WhatsApp voice note, which is the most wild shit.
Pull it up.
Dude, dude, this is
You heard this before?
Yeah.
here. I'll play it into the thing.
Play it right into the...
Hi there, Samraaj. My name's I'm the
Bleep
CEO,
that.
Managing Director of.
Bleep that.
It's a group of recruitment companies and headhunting firms. One of the brands is called.
Bleep.
We specialize in scaling up hypergrowth startups with React and Node engineers. We own about 80% of the market.
Not possible.
Across the world, because we've been doing it for so long. I think the last 7 years. I just wanted to
not
send
even
you
that long.
a voice note to apologize to you. I had some bad data, and I accidentally called your father when I was trying to reach you. And I get the fact that you guys took that pretty badly, or at least Kartik did, because he asked me what the fuck is actually wrong with me. But I'm sure you yourself would be calling people to get clients for your business or to introduce your services, and that's all.
And then
My
he
dude was
Just
talking
turn
to-
it on him.
And my dude was talking
proceeds
to
to-
James Bond.
Dude,
He's
he
like-
proceeds to try to sell for another 2 minutes. After we
respect that.
literally straight up said fuck off.
That's going in the intro too.
Yeah, he got 80% of the
7 years.
80% of React
80% of
engineers.
React engineers.
What would Chris Chadeau say about
Chris
this?
Chadeau. You know who that is?
Founder of React.
Oh, yes. Okay, fuck.
You didn't know. You didn't. Don't say yes like that. You didn't know.
Yeah, true. Well, Christian doesn't even know, but he works for, or whatever this company is.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, shit. So motorcycles.
Yeah, motorcycles. I rebuilt a bike, 1981 Honda CB 750. Did a cafe racer conversion on that bad boy.
See, you have so many hobbies. I said that.
This is what I did before I was a founder.
Dude can't win.
No,
Yeah, so-
I know everything. It's just my timeline's off.
Yeah, I mean, this is like
In his head, I still go to Berkeley.
Huh?
In his
Yeah,
head.
Omar Eeks.
the thing is like you're talking about all these hobbies and stuff. I think the thing is I used to be very creatively unfulfilled, like before I became a founder.
Okay.
Because earlier in my life when I was younger, I would always do like random entrepreneurial things. Like when I was in high school, I used to like resell sneakers. Like one of my friends used to paint sneakers and I used to help sell them. And I used to like find speakers and stuff off of Craigslist and box them and sell them, stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I would always do, and I would used to like charge people to like programs on their calculator, stuff like that, right? And then when I was in
You
college,
just charge people for programs on
yes,
the
sir,
calculator?
quadratic formula,
I had,
stuff
I
like
had,
that.
I had Flappy Bird on my calculator.
Oh, I'm not young like you.
Who
so.
is that? Who that is?
Never mind. Keep
You got
going.
floppy what? Go ahead. Sorry. Sorry about this, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, but
I had Pac-Man too.
That's enough.
Ben, when
I had Minecraft too, actually.
wait, actually, dude, that's
Yeah.
fire.
Wait, can you actually have that on your calculator?
Yeah.
That's fire.
You like hacked it or some shit?
jailbreak calculator?
It was a TI-84 CE.
Oh wow, that's actually really impressive. But
Okay.
anyway, I had TI-83 back in the day, and we used to program the quadratic formula. And
I had one of those too, because in my school was like, you cannot have a TI-84 CE anymore.
That's like
hilarious.
illegal because of the test.
Yeah,
Probably.
probably. But anyway, even in college, I used to like spend like I got my first tech job at 19. I worked at Intuit, and then after that, I was working at startups so
shit.
much. I became a consultant, so I was consulting at the side the entire time of college. I was always working. I was always hustling on the side.
Yeah.
Right. I even like worked as a barber for a little bit, and I did all this random stuff. I'm not even kidding. I used to cut hair in my basement.
Oh.
Yeah, I used to cut hair. In
It
my
was
basement.
your kid.
It was your kid.
Yeah, it was my kid. Yeah, I was the one who had to go to the hospital. And like, yeah.
Hey, what day it is?
Yeah. No, but like the thing is I realized that after I got to San Francisco and I started working in regular tech jobs, right? Like, so I worked as an engineer at Expensify, and then I worked as a product manager in an early stage startup. I lost a lot of my hustle because like work was so much, right? And I found myself not hustling in the same way that I used to and just doing all this stuff that was really fulfilling to me, which is what I actually like to do.
Yeah.
And I also realized that, like looking retrospectively, I would throw myself so far deep into all of my hobbies to like an insane regard, right? Like I got really into like dancing, right? I was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a bungalow dancer for a long time. So
Shout out Joe Her.
yeah, shout out Joe Hurt, he's homie. But like my fiance actually used to have the same coach as him randomly enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bro, everyone here knows each other.
Yeah, for real.
No, for Bungra.
Yeah, true.
Like
Everyone here has a history of
yeah,
dancing.
it's just they know each other for Bungra. We can
Yeah.
we can get
Yeah.
even more granular with that.
But yeah, no, dude, I would spend hours a day practicing. Right,
Wow.
I would like every weekend,
Yeah.
like 8 hours each day at Cal State East Bay. I used to dance for a team called GGW. We traveled all across the U.S., all across Canada, stuff like that. Got a shit ton of trophies. And then like after that, I got into calligraphy. I got into like motorcycles, so I rebuilt this motorcycle every day after work, multiple hours a day, just working on my bike. Right, and this is just like a personality trait for mine, where I just whenever I do something, I just go all in, all in, all in.
Yeah.
And I just spend so much time consuming every piece of content and understanding how everything works. Like with the bike, I taught myself everything about mechanics in order to work on it, right? And I did a full cafe racer conversion. I worked on the engine, I worked on the carburetors, I worked on the electrical system, I worked on like the handles, I worked on like the back gaskets or the back fender and like fairings and stuff like that, right? Like all the above I did from scratch. I'll show you a photo of it. I could send a photo in too.
Do it.
And after I became a founder, I didn't feel a need to do any of that anymore. Because guess what? I'm like creatively fulfilled by what I do on a day to day, right? So like now everything I do other than work I have like a really high bar for, and I don't feel a need to throw myself into it in the way that I used to, because like now I'm actually creatively fulfilled by what I do on a day to day, whereas I wasn't previously. So I just needed to throw myself at something in order to like escape, right? Which I think is kind of like the hack for starting like a company and being able to put a lot of time into it, is you have to understand how to be creatively fulfilled by what you do on a day to day.
Yeah, that's good advice.
I think that's also something that was interesting for me working at F-Inc. was before I would always have to have like 10 side things going. And like my biggest trait growing up was I was always like, okay, if I have 6 things juggling and I drop 1 or 2 of the balls, theoretically 3 or 4 still would work. And I think that's cool when you're younger, because then you get like you develop a really broad skill set.
You get breadth.
Yeah. And then, but I also think that before you can do anything that actually has like meaning or like substance, you have to like really go into something specifically.
Yeah, I agree with that, right? And on top of that, like there's something to be said about depth, right? Because depth is where the nuance comes.
Yeah.
And nuance surfaces problems. And problems are what you solve as a business, right? This is the advice I always give to people when they start something. What's going on over there? But this is the advice I always give to people when they want to start something, is it's like the hard way to do it is to go and just do a bunch of user research. The easy way to do it is to just build something you want to exist and solve your own problems. Yeah. And obviously that like it comes down to how do you recognize your own problems, but I think the best way to do that is to increase your problem surface area. And the way that you increase your problem surface area is to have enough breadth and then get depth in specific things, right? I wouldn't know like all the nuances of building Bifrost in the context of a developer and know that it's even possible in this way if I didn't understand how to work really deeply in the context of an engineer, right? And also for previous things I built, like I wouldn't know like all the skill set in order to do it unless I had the surface area of problems that I've experienced in my life to understand that these are things that can be solved. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, the best way to do it is just like figure out some people you have fun working with that are high talent and figure out how to solve your own problems and just do it over and over again.
And so if you had to sum up everything you've learned from Bifrost into like one sentence to end things off.
Build something people want. YC classic, right? Like, do people actually want it? And are they just saying they want it, or are they actually want it? Are they falling over themselves to use it? That's it. Like, you got to make sure you always build something people want. Second is like relentless focus is always what makes the biggest difference, right? If you can distract yourself with like 10 different things and 10 different ideas, you're never going to be successful in any given one of them. Relentlessly focus on the things that matter and hit market with them, right? Bring the people around you that you actually enjoy spending time with that are high talent and drive you to succeed too, right? Like, I think that is like one of the most underrated things like that we have done at our company is like, we're all friends. We enjoy spending time together and we enjoy working together. And we're all like high impact individuals. Like we ship really, yeah, okay. Our mascot especially, right? But like actually speaking, like when you have that combination, you want to go hard and you want to work. And you're also going to be working with a smile on your face every day. And isn't that the entire point?
That is.
Right? Like it's going to be great. And we have a great time building company and we ship super fast, right? Like our shipping speed is like a lot of people always tell us is like, damn, dude, you guys like are able to get things out really quickly. And we're building a really technically complicated product, right? And it's just really fun, you know? So those are like the main basic things that I would say. Other thing is like focus on product and distribution. Don't focus on like all the other bullshit around it, right? It's easy to distract yourself with all the other things, but relentlessly focus on what matters.
What do you think is the number one distraction?
You.
Yes. Our mascot. Yes. That is fucking true, dude. Yes. We are literally moving. Dude, we are moving into a conference room. So we don't have this guy around us. This is like the effing strategy. We're paying rent now because he distracted.
Hey, startup idea. I think we talked about
we
this.
send Vishal into our competitors.
Put me as like a temp or something to a competitor.
Yeah, that's hella fun.
Just
I will
destabilize.
Destroy that thing from the inside.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.